Hello, friends. Welcome to the moon path reading for the moon path we are currently on, which is the one that is taking us from the new moon that occurred on November 19th, November 20th, and forward to the full moon on December 4th. That's going to be a full moon in Gemini, and it takes place at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take a look at the magical weather. We're going to get an idea of what we need to know over these next few weeks that can help us move forward with our magical practices, with our magical work, whether that be meditation, manifestation, ceremony, rituals, magical practices. Any and all apply here. This is an all-inclusive reading, a universal collective reading for those of us that are wanting to work with spirit, wanting to work with magic. And what do we need to know as we move forward over the next few weeks here as we head towards this full moon on December 4th? This will be the last full moon of the year, and it'll be the full moon just before the winter season of festivities, solstice, Yule, Christmas, all of the midwinter festivals that occur during this time. We know that it is also going to be a supermoon. And so with that supermoon, full moon in Gemini, communication, different perspectives, different ways of seeing things, truth is really going to come to light. The other thing that I did note is that the moon will be in opposition to Venus on December 4th. So there could be some shakeups about, or maybe some clarity about how we love and what we are loving and how we want to move forward with that. So things to think about on sort of the big picture. Also, we'll be finishing up during this time period. Mercury stations out of retrograde on November 29th. So just before the full moon, we're going to see Mercury begin to go direct. And it will be direct with its first sort of bump of momentum forward on the full moon on December 4th. So we could see a lot of communication that has been stalled and has been worked on and has been cleaned out while it was retrograde. We might now begin to see a push forward with a lot of information and a lot of things happening. So with all of that in mind, let's take a look at the cards and get an idea of what we need to know as a collective on what we want to work on, how we as spirits in a physical body and in a physical world want to move forward with a beneficial life, and how we might want to use our magical practices to their best potential with the weather that we know is out there. Hopefully we'll get some information on that and get some insight and some wisdom, some inspiration. Fingers crossed. I'm going to use the Lightseer Tarot for this reading. That's what popped in my head when I was thinking about doing this reading and doing the research on the full moon and what was going to be going on. I was going to pull with pendulum, but I just had a card really ping very loudly. I'm going to narrow it down here. We will pull a card. I'm going to put this one to the side. Oh, there it is right there. So we'll pull this one up here. This is the card that definitely wanted to come out and say hi. And then I'm going to do a cut. All right, what do we need to know moving forward during this moon path time? And I'm going to grab the magic key. We're going to see what comes out, and then I'll draw another card by hand as well. I always do a little meditation before I go into these moon path readings. One of these two cards here. It just feels like this full moon is going to be, all right, thank you, is going to be, I don't think it's going to be heavy per se. I think it's going to be very active. I think there's going to be a lot of clarity. And the next card is here on the bottom. It's right there. I think there's going to be a lot of things coming to light. All right, so this was the pendulum. This was the volunteer. Well, Not really volunteer. How do we want to do this? We want to pull this card first. This is the one that was really hot in my hands. 3 of Cups. Joy. Focusing on joy. I love that. Let's see what the pendulum had to say. 5 of Cups. A sense of not like focusing on what's wrong instead of focusing on what we have. That's the message from Spirit on that over the period of time. And spending too much time, I like how this is kind of a spiral downwards, like spending too much time thinking about the way things didn't go or how we hoped things would go and how maybe those expectations and those hopes aren't matching up with reality or what's happening around us in the real world, maybe. And it's a distraction. It's being too distracted on this spiraling and not focusing on the beautiful, wonderful things that we do have in our possession that are right in front of us and right by us. And then we have 4 of Swords, rest. It is midwinter. It is coming up on midwinter. Not yet. Not yet. We may need some rest for the midwinter because the festivities are about to kick in. But this is all about rest and reflection. I just heard remediation in my head. I don't know why, but processing things. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get a major arcana here. It's fascinating. I was really feeling this is pretty close to a major arcana. I think this is our stand-in for the major arcana for the next time period coming up. This is a time period to really be focusing on the things that lighten us up, the community we have, friends that we have, things that make us happy and things that bring us joy, right? These things, not these things. I'm almost thinking of like the news cycle, right? Or like the internet. This is like scrolling, like being too focused on things that aren't working out, but not like that's pulling our attention from what could be working out or what is actually working out. There's a story. I wish I could tell you where I got it from, but it's an old wise man in a village. This is an Asian, I believe it's Buddhist or possibly Zen. I don't know. I'm mixing things up. But the idea is that when his son broke his leg, the villagers were very sad and sorry. And, oh, look at this terrible thing that happened to your son. Now you can't plant your crops now. But then when the soldiers came to recruit soldiers out of the village and to pull the young teens and the young men out of the village, they didn't take the man's son because the man's son had a broken leg. And so it's a matter of looking at what could be happening for us that is for the better, right? It is all about a positive mental attitude. And that is reflected in this card as well as this card. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for joy, and you need to really find them and move towards those. Don't shy away from them and find ways to gain your rest, to reset as often as you can, to remember to collect yourself and to find your nest, right? And I think it's because there is going to be so much of this. I believe when Mercury goes direct and as we head towards the full moon, I think we're going to get a lot of information. I don't know what kind of information, but it's going to be about different perspectives, and it could be kind of disorienting. I'm not going to say confusing, but just disorienting. And that's what I'm feeling here with this, just being disoriented and distracted and not focusing on how cool it is that this is the last full moon of the year. The last full moon before solstice. Solstice is coming up. Mercury is going direct, and being able to like look at all the beauty around us of what's happening and how spirit is interacting with us, right? So it's a paradigm / perspective switch. I'm going to pull another card, I think. I usually try and go with maybe around 4 cards for these larger readings. And it's up here. My throat is really dry. The world. Wow. Wow, guys. That's really cool. Yeah. So there is a sense here of really being able to, I'm getting a sense of communion and communal work towards an end cycle as we come up to the end of the year, of looking at how things are wrapping up. This full moon is just going to have a ton of energy behind it, and it's going to be a perfect opportunity to work towards wrapping things up and reshifting our perspective so it's towards joy and not towards this spiral downwards that's not going to get us anywhere. And it's almost like a reframing and a perspective shift. And one of the ways that's going to help us the most is to get our rest. So that means we aren't staying up late doing rituals. We have plans in place to get our rest. We can stay up late to do rituals, but then we have plans in place, right, to make sure we have recovery time, we have reset time. And I think that it's a process. It's a very idea of like power and balance being intermixed here to help us understand the power of joy, but also that we need to reset. And there's a joy in that as well. Taking joy in resetting, taking joy in rest and reflection and contemplation, but not this kind of contemplation, right? Shifting our perspective through joy to see how we can tap into this full moon energy at the end of the year to really wrap things up and to have this almost feeling of completion. Like, yeah, okay. Another interesting note, as I was looking forward, the new moon, so the full moon will be on December 4th. The new moon will be taking place pretty much on solstice on December 20th, 21st. So we're going to have a dark moon to really put some seeds in the ground and to put some ideas forward. So I think this is part of that. I think we had a big new moon previously with the high priestess and the sun and getting some big ideas and some big energy. And I think this is carrying forward with this Three of Cups and the World card. But this has got more of a restful vibe and a sense of almost like, yeah, rest and recovery while focusing on joy. So please keep that in mind as you are about to work on any spiritual work. This is the weather that's going to be in play, and it's going to be very easy to be distracted, right? It's going to be very easy to get focused in on the hypnotic spiral of the news and other things that are happening around us that we can't control. We can't control where we put our perspective, right? And our perspective determines our reality. Okay. We're going to pull a card from the Celtic Spirit. Oh, my ears are ringing. I must have been a good hit. Wow. It's got a ringing in my ears. It's going away now. Just a quick one. A little note of confirmation from up above, I guess. So I use the Celtic Spirit here. These really wanted to come play with this reading. So pull one. See what it wants to add. This one. Master of the Hunt. Masculinity, speed, flow. That is, I think, that is an extra bit of confirmation about the full moon energy. And I think we're going to see a ramping up of this energy as soon as Mercury comes out of retro. And we see that kick in on November 30th. I mean, it's supposed to happen on the 29th, but it actually doesn't kind of get moving until a day or two later. So November 30th, and then boom, early December 4th, full moon. So this is about tapping into the flow of these two cards here, the Three of Cups, the joy and the happiness of being with other people and being with family, being with friends, having that spiritual connection with other people and being able to experience the physical world through that spiritual connection. That's flow. That's kind of what it's all about. To kind of see how everything is going to come forward for us on the full moon on December 4th. So it's almost feels like it's like these three cards right here. And this is like a reminder card to remember to get our rest, because I think things are going to be going so fast where it's going to be really easy to get disoriented. And it's going to be very easy to feel off base unless we plan for it and prepare for it. And it's going to be really important to focus in on what really matters, right? Not what we're being yelled at to pay attention to, but what really matters to us. And that's a matter of connection that we can find through joy, through rest. Okay. This is a collective reading, so if you want to get a feel or a thread of this reading that is personal to you, please go ahead, grab a tarot deck, grab an oracle deck, and pull a card for it, and see how that card lays into and connects to this larger vibe of the reading, of what we're going to be working with and dancing through as we go through this moon path towards the full moon on December 4th. Feel free to leave that card in the comments. And if you feel like you want to share, we have several people that do that, and I love that. I love to see it. Let me know how this feels to you. You can leave a note down in the comments as well. And you can also reach me at alongadifferentpath@gmail.com. I do have reading spots open, so you can get in touch with me there and we can have a chat about how I do online readings. And I wish you all the best moving forward. It looks to be, as long as we keep our perspective in the proper spot, it looks to be a very powerful week ahead and a very energetic full moon on December 4th. And so to prepare for that, I think here's the battle plan. All right. I think that's it. Thanks, everybody. I do these readings every day. I'll do a daily reading, so feel free, if this is your first reading with me online, please check out my channel, check out the daily readings that I do. I do those Monday through Friday, and then I try to get in a weekend reading to kind of cover Saturday and Sunday and give myself a tiny break. But yeah, if you want to see more, head over to my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a like or subscribe. That helps the channel out immensely. And I will see you on the next one. Peace and strength, everybody, and take care. Bye-bye.